Hey guys, it's Daniel Gyomory, your local realtor, and today I just want to run through the basics of writing an offer and everything besides price, because buyers will often just say, well, will they take this price for it? And I get it. Price is usually the number one most important factor in someone selling their house, but there's a lot of other details here that can't go unlooked because they're very important in this process. So I'm going to run through the basics. There are plenty more than this. You can get real creative with writing an offer, but let's just narrow down on everything besides price that's basic, that's included in an offer that you as a buyer and sellers are going to want to know and both be on the same page here. So besides price, how about appliances? Are the appliances staying in the house, or are the sellers taking them with them to their new house? Or maybe they're taking some of them. Let's say they're going to leave all the kitchen appliances, but they want to take the washer and dryer to their new house. Sellers, obviously, they want to know what they can take with them. Buyers, you want to know what you're expecting to have to be at the house when you move in. So that's very important. The next thing will be financing. Are you paying cash for that property, or are you getting financing? You're getting a mortgage. So very important. There's a big difference between cash or getting a mortgage. And then if you are getting financing, which most of you are, the sellers want to know, are you conventional or are you an FHA or VA buyer? Because there's different programs there. They might want to know how much you're putting down. Basically, they want to know how strong of a buyer you are. Obviously, they want to know that you're pre-approved and you can actually afford that house, because they want to know that you can actually perform on that contract and get to closing and buy their house. So very important to know what type of financing you're using to buy that. The next thing will be the earnest money deposit, or the EMD. You could put down maybe $500 for an earnest money deposit, or $5,000, let's say. And basically, this just shows this is your good faith deposit, put some skin in the game, that you're communicating to the seller, you're serious about buying their house, and you really want to purchase that. Especially in let's say, a high seller's market and in a multiple offer situation. If somebody comes in with a $500 or $1,000 deposit, and you're serious and you put down a $5,000 deposit, the seller's automatically going to go know who's serious here, and they're going to start taking your offer more serious. So keep this in mind. Ask me if you have details on this. I want to keep it short, but the earnest money, whether you put $1 down or $10,000 down, the rules still apply the same, regardless of the amount. It's contingent on the next two things here. We're going to talk about the inspection and the appraisal. So don't be scared to put down a heavier deposit. It's just showing you're more serious. And if something is drastically wrong with that house and you decide to get out of it during the inspection contingency, you still get that money back. So again, ask me with questions on that. But that leads to the next thing. Is this entire offer contingent on a home inspection? Very important for the sellers to know if they're going to have to wait 7 to 10 days typically for the buyers to do a home inspection. And I've mentioned this before, but I highly recommend to always get a home inspection done on a property. You don't want to buy one of the biggest purchases of your life and not know if what's going on behind the scenes. So definitely get the home inspected, but obviously you can see why you as a buyer and the seller want to be on the same page, understanding that the offer is contingent on that inspection. Now, the next thing would be the appraisal. If you're paying cash, this might not apply. You probably don't want, you usually don't get an appraiser. But if you are financing it, which most of us would be, you're going to have to get an appraisal done. The lender's going to require getting an appraisal to make sure the value on that property is actually what you've agreed to pay for. So again, this offer would be contingent on that if you are getting financed to buy that house. Next thing, contingency factor here. Do you need to sell a house first before you can buy that house? So very important for you to communicate to the seller, I need to close and sell my current house before I can buy yours. And as a seller, obviously they want to know if they need to wait for you to close on your house before you can buy it. Very important to communicate here, and you can see why that would be important on both sides of the aisle. The next thing will be closing. Are you paying cash or financing like I mentioned? That can really dictate a different closing period. So cash might only take 2 weeks, but with financing it could take between 4, 6, maybe 8 weeks depending on the program. So very important for the seller to know when you're saying you can close. How quickly can you close? Because they want to know when they can actually cash out, take their money, and they might have future plans that dictate, on their calendar and their timeline. So very important that you put in the offer when you can close on that house buy, which leads us to the next thing is occupancy. Are you getting keys at closing? Do you expect to move in that day? Or are the sellers asking for maybe a couple weeks or a month because maybe they're on the other side of this and they're buying another house. So they need to close on this house and then they need to move into the next one. So very important for both sides to understand the occupancy, also how much they're going to charge per day. So you can see here, there's a lot more involved than just price. Price is obviously very important. Everybody wants to know how much they'll actually agree to sell the property for. But all these other things like the inspection, the EMD, appraisal, everything we've just went through all the way down to the closing period to the occupancy, you can see why this is very important for the buyers and the sellers to be on the same page. And that's why we really don't do verbal offers, because there's so many details here that really need to be laid out in a purchase agreement in writing so that both parties can agree to and understand. So hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. If you are a first-time buyer especially, this might sound very confusing or very overwhelming. Don't worry, that's what I'm here for. Just ask me if you have any questions. I'll explain this very simple to you, and this will help. If you have a good agent that can explain this to you and help you with strategies and negotiating, All these factors are very important, so you really do need somebody that can help guide you through this so that you can get that house that you just fell in love with and make sure you get that offer accepted and those sellers agree to sell you the house. So let me know if you have any questions, and if you do have any other questions regarding the buying or selling process or anything real estate related, be happy to help in any way that I can. So thank you guys so much again for watching, and we'll talk soon.